Welcome once again to OnePetiteStreet. Today we're going to be looking at how we can make magazines for our dollhouse, and then we'll talk a little bit about the progress we've made on our stairway, and following that we'll open up the box and we'll talk about what's in the box and what will be our project for next week. Right now, we'll look at making magazines for your dollhouse and where you can find those resources. Before we do that, I want to ask you to subscribe, and also want to ask you, if you like this, just hit that like button, and if you have a comment, please share that comment with us. And also, if you want to contact us, you can do it by contacting us through OnePetiteStreet@gmail.com. So let's look now at how we can make magazines for our dollhouses. Today's subject is magazines for our dollhouse, and here's the first examples that I have. Of course, I can't use these because they're long after my time period of the 1950s. These are by a Joshua's Lifestyle Collectibles, and were picked up for me for a Christmas present. And so those are modern, sports, and I think there's a popular science there. They're hard to read. They're small. But so one way you can get your magazines is to purchase them. And now I'm going to talk about a couple of other ways to get them, and we'll just bring those into view. Again, these were a gift, and that's one way to purchase them for your dollhouse. Another way to find magazines for your dollhouse is to, of course, go online. And I found these at a very good site. It's www.jeansprintables.com. So you can go there, and there's a host of things you can get at that site. And they come, of course, as a sheet like this, and you can see that you need to cut them out and put them on a backing, and I'll show you that after I show you another way to get them. So go online, you can check at Pinterest and other areas online, and you can find what you need to make your magazines for your dollhouse. And I have a number of them here, and they're all from that period of time. And that's the nice thing about this, because our dollhouse is in the 1950s, and these are magazines from the 1950s. So that's very good. Now let's look at another way that you can get magazines for your dollhouse. A third way that you can find magazines for your dollhouse is to just watch in magazines and things like that to find examples that you can use. These are Relocation magazine. It's put out by North and South Carolina, and I found these, and they're just about the different ones, the different areas, and I said to myself, those are the right scale. And so then I made a magazine out of a set of those, and that's what I'm going to show you here in a minute. So this is a relocation magazine, and it was just a picture of the magazine in a magazine, and I cut those out, and we can make a magazine with those. And right now I'm going to show you how that's done and how I gave some more realistic imagery to the ones that I got online. And we'll show you that very quickly. The first step that I did to make a magazine out of it was, of course, to cut the cover out of this. I found a whole series of those, and so then I cut the cover out, and I cut a piece of cardboard, and I like these because it looks on the end like it might be pages, and I cut a cover for it because this one didn't have one. Have you noticed in the other ones that I got online, whoops, they had front and back. This did not. So the next step we'll do is to glue the cover together, and we'll be right back with that. So now we have the front of the cover glued to it, and you have to be very careful. If you know how glue is, if you use too much, you'll have wrinkles in there. And I also cut the cardboard backing smaller, so it's covered completely by the front cover, by the picture. And now we'll take the piece of cardboard there and use it to give it the bulk of a magazine. So now you can see that we have put it together. We glued the piece of cardboard in between the front and back and gave it some bulk as if it were a magazine. And that's the way that you can look around and find something and turn it into a magazine for your dollhouse. Now this of course wouldn't go on mine because this magazine from much later. But if you go to the website that I gave you, they have magazines for different time periods. So go ahead and look that over and try that out. Well, I just want to point out that we are making some progress on our stairway. One of the things, we've got our railing on the upper part of it. Down here I discovered we need to make it a little bit wider, so we're working on that. And of course we have our Harry Potter room, as I call it, that we're still working on. But we are making progress, I want you to know that, on our stairway. So we've shared about how to have magazines for our dollhouse and how the progress we've made on our stairway for our dollhouse. And now we're going to reveal what next week's project, what's in the box. And so let's do that. And basically what we have is some wood. The reason we have the wood is because for next week we're going to make some bookshelves. And you can imagine then after that we might have a project where we make some books. But next week's project is bookshelves for our study, right here, for our study. My plan for the study is that we're going to have a lot of bookshelves, we're going to have a fireplace, and this is going to be the ideal of what I would like to have as a study. So that is the project for next week. And until then, of course, we want to again invite you to subscribe, to share any comments you have, and also if you want to get in touch with me, you can do so by email at OnePetiteStreet@gmail.com. And we just thank you for being here, and I hope that it was helpful and gave you some ideas for your dollhouses, or just some ideas to enjoy. And speaking of enjoying, one thing about working with miniatures is you get to enjoy the small things in life. Until next week, goodbye.